We are a no-kill shelter, which means that all of the animals here have a forever home with us until we find them another home. We've got a dog named Tonka, and Tonka is a purebred boxer, a white boxer. Tonka's story, though, is she's an owner surrender, and she's only been here less than 2 weeks, and somebody's already seen her, fell in love with her, and they're going to come adopt her this week. And he was looking for a dog, came in last week, saw her, and said, "That's her. That's the dog I want."
I've been looking for a boxer, and I didn't really want the small puppy, and I'd found this dog, heard the lady had her, and she wound up here, so I came down and saw her and looked at her, and that's pretty much how I got here. She's going to stay inside, so I want some lay on the couch or on the floor and just have somebody to put, something to play with, go outside with me, just have some little company. We're going to take her home and see what happens.
Every animal here has a story.
The few that I have heard can actually at times bring tears to your eyes, from dogs that have been thrown out of automobiles to dogs that have had choker chains on their necks to the point that it's actually in their neck. And I think you can go just about every animal kind of, for the most part, has some form of a sad story, but the good news is it always ends up to be a good story if they've been in the shelter here.
Samson, he was a big, probably 100-pound Mastiff mix that was brought into us, and he was attacked by a bear. The vets pretty much figured it was a bear attack. He had a chunk of meat about that big missing from the back of his neck. He had a shredded up ear. It took us a lot of vet care personally. Like, I had to go in the pen with him every day and clean the wound out. They could not stitch it up immediately because it was just so mangled. But through all that, he never seemed to mind. He never tried to bite us, nothing like that. He was a really good guy through the whole thing. We finally got him all patched up. You couldn't even hardly tell he had been attacked. He had a scar maybe that long and about that big around, and no emotional scars whatsoever. He went to a really great home. He's living a happy life now. We get to see him every so often, and I think it turned out well.
The Cashier Highlands Humane Society originally began in 1986. 4 women who decided that they wanted to do something with the stray animal population in the Cashiers area. In 1987 they incorporated, so they became a 501c3, or a federally recognized nonprofit organization. And we were fortunate in 1992 to receive some money from Sermon Marvel in memory of his wife Zoe Marvel. And that allowed us to buy the land that the shelter sits on now. The story is that Elvis was here when the shelter was built in 1992.
Elvis, our mascot, he's been here forever. He's like our CEO cat in charge.
Elvis kind of runs the place and has the run of the place. So he spends a little bit of time outdoors, and he spends most of his time indoors now that he's an older cat. Elvis just kind of wanders around at his leisure, and he sleeps in one of the kitchen sinks at night. So he's quite a character, and he's always here, and he's always got, a smile for everybody around. We can always use volunteers here at the Humane Society. We have 6 staff, but we can always use volunteers to do a number of the daily things that we do, and we don't knock back anyone who's interested in volunteering for us. You have to be 14 years of age or older, or accompanied by an adult, and you fill out basically a simple waiver form, and you can come and volunteer as often as you like. We get a lot of people that volunteer through the summer. They're up here for vacation, or they're up here, they're seasonal residents, and they want to come in and spend some time with the animals, so we really look forward to that.
One morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard a cat crying, and I thought my cat had gotten out of the house where we were renting, and there was a small kitten there. And I came down to the Humane Society. I was feeding it and taking care of it, but I knew once the winter came I would have a problem because I couldn't take it back to my home because my cat was not accepting it. I got the call that they had room for her, and I brought her in one day, and the next day my heart was broken because she wasn't coming to the house anymore to be fed, and I found her home in Wilmington. So she's in one of my friends right now.
Awesome.
I usually come about once a week. Just me.
Okay, and
It's just me and the animals. The Humane Society is great. It's just great. I mean, especially if you get an animal that you need help finding a home for.
I love animals and I love cats, and that's my position. That's what I do every day. I mean, it's doing something to help all them. I mean, so I do it.
You have to really love this job to have to work here, and appreciate the other employees and what they do and work together.
We're primarily about, providing the absolute best for the animals here until they can find a forever home.